All right, we are ready. Good afternoon, television fans. Big Al here on this Tuesday, July 29th, 2025, and welcome to episode number 17 of Television Station History. And today we will be taking a look at KABC-TV, the West Coast flagship of the ABC television network. All right, with that said, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and get notified every time I go live, and off we go with the history of KABC-TV. And again, all of this information is courtesy of Wikipedia, so shouts out to them. KABC-TV Channel 7 is a television station in Los Angeles, California, serving as the West Coast flagship station of the ABC television network. Owned and operated by the network's ABC-owned television stations division, the station maintains studios in the Grand Central Business Center of Glendale, and its transmitter is located on Mount Wilson. All right, so here are the specs on KABC-TV Los Angeles. The station broadcasts on Virtual Channel 7 and shares its RF digital signal on VHF Channel 7 with KRCA. General on-air brand is ABC7. Newscast brand is ABC7 Eyewitness News. And we'll look at the sub-channels towards the end. Station is owned and operated by ABC-owned television stations. License is held by KABC Television, LLC. KABC was founded in 1947 and signed on officially as KECA-TV on September 16, 1949, and then in 1954 the station officially became KABC-TV. Their analog signal previously aired on VHF Channel 7 from 1949 to 2009, and their RF signal, their digital signal, was on Channel 53 from 1998 to 2009 before moving to Channel 7. Call sign meaning is the American Broadcasting Company. KABC-TV is licensed by the FCC, broadcasting presently at 28.7 kilowatts, but they have a construction permit to increase power to 50 kilowatts. Their transmitter is on Mount Wilson, located 3,209 feet above average terrain. They also have a network of translator stations across Southern California. We'll dive into those towards the end as well. Their website is abc7.com. All right, quickly into the history, starting with KECA-TV from 1949 to 1954. Channel 7 first signed on the air under the call sign KECA-TV on September 16, 1949. It was the last television station in Los Angeles operating on the VHF band to debut, and the last of ABC's 5 original owned and operated stations to make its debut, right after KGO-TV in San Francisco, which signed on 4 months earlier. It was also the last of the LA Classic 7 TV stations, which were originally on the VHF dial prior to the 2009 digital transitions, or conversions rather. No other stations debuted in Los Angeles until 1958, when educational station KTHE briefly operated on Channel 28, followed by the launch of the first 2 commercial UHF stations in Los Angeles, both KIIX-TV, Channel 22, which is now KSCN-TV and previously KWHY-TV, and KMEX-TV, Channel 34. Both were launched in 1962. KTHE is now KCET, Channel 28. The station's call sign was named after Los Angeles broadcasting pioneer Earl C. Anthony, whose initials were also presented on Channel 7's then sister radio station KECA 790, now known as KABC. On February 1st, 1954, KECA-TV changed its call sign to the present-day KABC-TV. Crazy Cajuns in the house. How you doing, brother? And now, KABC-TV, 1954 to the present. Ooh, what you grilling up, my brother? Making me hungry. Originally, KABC-TV was located at the ABC Television Center, now called the Prospect Studios, on Prospect Avenue in the Los Feliz neighborhood of Los Angeles, east of Hollywood. In 2000, KABC-TV moved to nearby Glendale, into a new state-of-the-art facility designed by Caesar Pelli. Ribs and chicken. Tag teaming right there. As part of the Disney Grand Central Creative Campus, or GC3, located in the Grand Central Business Center on the site of the former Grand Central Airport. Again, this is in Glendale, California. The station is currently located 4 miles east along the corridor of the Los Angeles River and the Ventura Freeway of ABC's West Coast headquarters on the Walt Disney Studios lot in Burbank. KABC-TV has used the Circle 7 logo since 1962, which is the same year ABC created and implemented its current logo, and augmented its bottom left quadrant with the ABC Network logo in 1997. The station's news anchors and reporters wear Circle 7 lapel pins when they appear on camera, which is a practice that has once been a standard at each of the original 5 ABC-owned stations. On February 4th, 2006, KABC-TV became the first television station in the state of California to broadcast its local newscasts in high definition, using HD cameras in the studio, and debuted an updated sets. KABC-TV shut down its analog signal over VHF Channel 7 at noon Pacific Daylight Time on June 12, 2009 as part of the federally mandated transition from analog to digital television. The station's digital signal relocated from its pre-transition UHF Channel 53, which was among the high-band UHF channels from 52 to 69 that were removed from broadcasting use as a result of the transition to its analog era VHF Channel 7. After the transition occurred, some viewers had difficulty receiving KABC's signal despite operating at a high effective radiated power of 25 kilowatts. On March 31st, 2009, KABC-TV filed an application with the FCC to upgrade its signal strength to 28.7 kilowatts. It was granted a construction permit on March 3rd, 2011. In June 2010, the Walt Disney Company became engaged in a carriage dispute with Time Warner Cable. This dispute involved Channel 7 and 3 other ABC-owned and operated stations, Disney Channel, and the ESPN family of networks. If a deal had not been made, all of the Disney-owned channels would have been removed from Time Warner Cable and Bright House Network systems across the United States. The companies reached a long-term agreement to keep the stations and their sister cable channels on Time Warner Cable and its co-managed systems on September 2nd, 2010. On August 31st, 2023, Disney removed all of its channels, including KABC-TV, 2 other ABC-owned stations, and the ESPN networks from Spectrum Cable Systems due to a carriage dispute, its first with the provider since 2010 when its predecessor, Time Warner Cable, was involved in a dispute with Disney. On September 11, 2023, the stations and their sister cable channels were restored by Charter Communications, the parent company of Spectrum, after the company and Disney reached an agreement. Channel 7 was then pulled from DirecTV on September 1st, 2024, as a result of a dispute between the satellite provider and Disney. The removal came just hours before a USC Trojans college football victory over LSU, airing on ABC. Digital Channel 7.3 previously carried programming from the local AccuWeather channel and was replaced with a standard definition feed of the Live Well network in 2010. On April 15, 2015, the comedy network Laugh replaced the standard definition feed of LWN on 7.3. ABC stations rebranded Live Well Network on the .2 subchannel as Localish on February 17, 2020 to add an outlet for the Localish lifestyle content. Hi Anna, how are you? Crazy Cajun showed me how you get down. Everything looks so good. I thank you, Anna. Really appreciate that. Programming. News programming in particular. KABC-TV currently broadcasts 51 hours and 25 minutes of locally produced newscasts each week, broadcasting 7 hours and 35 minutes on weekdays and 7 hours each on Saturday and Sunday. KABC-TV formerly operated a news bureau in California's capital city of Sacramento, sharing resources with sister stations KGO-TV in San Francisco and KFSN-TV in Fresno. The bureau was closed in 2014. The station also had bureaus located within its viewing area in Riverside and Orange. In the 1980s, the station also had a bureau located in Ventura. Lou Irwin Reports, the station's first locally produced newscast, debuted in 1957. Initially, the 15-minute program was broadcast Monday through Saturday nights at 11 and featured Irwin delivering a news summary prepared by KABC radio news writers, followed by a 7-minute feature written by Irwin that included footage shot for the program by the MGM-owned newsreel company Telenews. Irwin interviewed a host of public figures for the program, including former President Harry S. Truman, former Senator and future President John F. Kennedy, philosopher Bertrand Russell, actor Marlon Brando, H-bomb scientist Edward Teller, and poets Robert Frost and Carl Sandburg. Irwin's features often included news-breaking investigations into such controversial topics such as migrant workers, police brutality, proprietary hospitals, disc jockey payola, the Hollywood Blacklist, and the John Birch Society. In a letter to the chief of ABC News, James Haggerty, in 1961, Sandberg wrote, "He is one of the great reporters in America today. I could make a case that he is one of the most useful citizens." In 1962, a new KABC-TV program director for this... Let me say that again. I kind of got hung up there. In 1962, a new KABC-TV program director for the station mounted a second newscast on the station, following John Daly's network newscast in the early evening, presented by Ed Fleming, who had previously worked for rival KNXT Channel 2, which is now KCBS-TV. A few moments later, he decided to feature Fleming and Irwin on both the early evening newscasts and the late night newscasts as well, with Fleming delivering the news and Irwin a long-form feature. After numerous clashes between the program director and Irwin resigned in 1962, citing creative differences. He was eventually succeeded by KCOP newscaster Baxter Ward, who was backed by the station's first staff film crew. KABC-TV first adopted the eyewitness news format for its newscasts in February 1969, not long after it became popular on New York City's sister station, WABC-TV. Like the other ABC-owned stations, KABC-TV used the tar sequence cue from the soundtrack of the 1967 film Cool Hand Luke as its theme music, and continued to use it even after other channels adapted an updated version of the theme, the Frank Gehry composed News Series 2000. Later, the station used the original Cool Hand Luke theme only during the main newscast. The station's newscast used a synthesized version of the old theme composed by Frank Becker during the mid-1980s. KABC-TV picked up the News Series 2000 package first in 1989 for eyewitness news promos, then in 1990 for additional use in bumpers and as the closing theme before being fully adopted as the eyewitness news theme in 1992. The original Cool Hand Luke theme was retained for some eyewitness news promos as late as 1993. In 1995, KABC began using Gehry Media Group's Eyewitness News music package, which remains as the station's news theme. Bill Bonds and Stu Nahan were KABC-TV's first anchor team under the Eyewitness News banner. Within 2 years, unable to upend the dominance of KCBS-TV, then at the time KNXT, and their newscasts, The Big News and 11 O'Clock Report with Jerry Dunphy, and KNBC Channel 4's news service format, Bonds returned to his previous ABC assignment at WXYZ-TV in Detroit, and Nahan became the station's lead sportscaster. A succession of anchors, Joseph Benty, Barney Morris, John Shelbeck, and Judd Hembrick followed, but the newscast gained its greatest growth in August 1975, when KABC-TV hired Dunphy as its lead anchor, following his firing from Channel 2. Though initially paired with newcomer John Hambrick, Dunphy later partnered with reporter Christine Lund, and that duo led Channel 7 to local news supremacy well into the 80s. Others who have reported or anchored for KABC-TV include Lisa McCree, Harold Green, Tawny Little, Laura Diaz, Paul Moyer, Chuck Henry, Johnny Mountain, George Fishback, Judd Rose, and Bill Weir. Former KABC-TV sports reporters and anchors include former NFL players Lynn Swann, Gene Washington, Jim Hill, and Bob Chandler, and former Major League Baseball player and current LA Dodgers radio analyst and play-by-play announcer Rick Monday. In the highly competitive Los Angeles media market, Eyewitness News has long engaged in several initiatives to connect with local viewers and is quite beloved in Southern California for its neighborhood news approach. One such early effort was to organize a local newscast from a typical Southern California suburban family home. In the spring of 1972, a contest was held asking the public to write letters telling KABC why an edition of the newscast should be produced at their home. The winner was Joseph Jensen from Sepulveda, now known as North Hills, and on June 13th, the 11 p.m. edition of Eyewitness News originated live from the Jensen family living room, or rather dining room, with anchormen John Schubeck and Joseph Benty seated at the Jensen dinner table, reading the latest headlines. The Jensen family, with anchorman John Schubeck. Oh, I read that already. The Jensen family surrounded the generalists dressed in their Sunday best. That pretty much meant suits, ties, and dresses for the most part. Camera equipment, lights, microphones, and a remote broadcast truck similar to the ones used at sporting events to connect the house to the ABC television center were employed to help with the broadcasts. During the 70s and 80s, the station's newscasts often included spirited miniature debates and commentaries reflecting various political viewpoints. Some notable politicians and political pundits appeared on these segments, including Proposition 13 backer Howard Jarvis, former U.S. Representative and Senator John Tooney, Bill Hershenson, Bill Press, and Baxter Ward. In addition, Channel 7 aired brief editorials from the station's general manager, most notably John Severino, who served throughout the 1980s. The practice was discontinued in 1990. During the 1980s, KABC-TV was one of a few stations in the country to run a 3-hour block of local newscasts on weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m. The station was the first in the region to introduce an hour-long newscast at 4 p.m., first anchored by Jerry Dunphy and Tawny Little in September 1980. Before this, the station ran 2 hours of news, from 5 to 7. The station reduced its block by a half hour in 1990, when it moved World News Tonight from 7 p.m. to 6:30. For a time in the late 1980s, its 6:30 newscast was titled Eyewitness Update and served as a final recap of the day's news, similar in nature to an 11 p.m. newscast. KABC-TV is one of 3 ABC stations on the West Coast to air World News Tonight at 6:30. The other ABC stations to do this are KG-TV in San Diego and KAEF in Eureka. Most other ABC stations in the Western United States run the program at either 5:30 or 6 p.m. when the network soap opera Port Charles ended its run in 2003. KABC-TV expanded its midday newscast to a full hour. Occasionally, KABC-TV has aired the live East Coast edition of World News Tonight at 3:30. From January 13, 2014 to July 28, 2022, KABC-TV produced an hour-long evening newscast on then-independent Anaheim-based KDOC-TV Channel 56. The newscast originally aired at 8 p.m. before moving to 7 and aired 7 nights a week. KDOC also added a midnight rebroadcast of Channel 7's 11 p.m. news. KABC was the 5th ABC-owned and operated station to enter into a news share agreement after WTVD in Raleigh-Durham, KGO-TV in San Francisco, WPVI-TV in Philadelphia, and KFSN-TV in Fresno. Channel 7 aired its final news broadcast on KDOC on July 28, 2022. Due to Channel 56 being sold to Tri-State Christian Television and switching to religious programming the next day. On May 31st, 2016, KABC added a 3 p.m. newscast on weekdays, competing with KTLA Channel 5's newscast at that time slot. On September 10th, 2018, KABC became the 3rd television station in the market to expand its weekday morning newscast to 3 hours, with an additional half hour at 4 a.m. On September 30th, 2015, the KABC-TV studios in Glendale were evacuated due to a bomb threat. The station's employees were evacuated and forced the station off the air. The suspect, who was responsible for the threat, was a 22-year-old Glendale man who was arrested on October 14, 2015. As a result, the 4 p.m. newscast was temporarily moved outside the studio while the police swept the studio with bomb-sniffing dogs inside. At 4:42 p.m., the station's employees were allowed to re-enter the studio, and the newscast continued from the studio after the threat. In February 2017, the station's news helicopter, Air 7 HD, received an upgrade and debuted with 2 new features, Extreme Vision and SkyMap 7. Extreme Vision uses an advanced zoom lens and can track vehicle speeds in real time. SkyMap 7 uses augmented reality technology, which overlays the names of streets and highways onto the picture. Both features are powered by the Shotover F1 Live. Ratings. The introduction of the Eyewitness News format, followed by the addition of syndicated staples such as The Oprah Winfrey Show in 1986, and Live with Kelly and Mark and its predecessors in 1991, plus Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune in 1992, has allowed Channel 7 to maintain a substantial ratings advantage over the competition. Levering the strength of its sizable lead in at 3 p.m. by the now defunct Oprah, KABC-TV has long held first or second in the ratings for its 4 to 6:30 p.m. news block. However, ratings leads for the morning and late news have typically been expensive battles, with local stations KTLA Channel 5 and KTTV Channel 11 in the morning, plus KNBC Channel 4 and recently KCBS-TV Channel 2 at 11 p.m. With its across-the-board ratings success in hand, the station has been known to run quick 5-second promos throughout the day that feature the slogan, ABC7, #1 in news, #1 in Southern California. This is a throwback to its openers during the 80s and 90s, when the station proudly proclaimed itself #1 in Southern California. Channel 7 led all local news time periods during initial coverage of the January 2025 Southern California wildfires. Social media. KABC-TV, as well as the other Disney-owned television stations, has a large presence on several social media platforms. In May 2014, Channel 7 claimed to be the first local TV station in the United States to surpass 1 million likes on Facebook. All right, now we're on to the current and former on-air staff. We'll start with the personnel that's currently on the air at Channel 7. You have anchors Mark Brown, David Ono, and Leslie Sykes, and general assignment reporter Carlos Granada. Their weather team is led by Chief Meteorologist Dallas Raines, who has the AMS certified broadcast meteorologist seal of approval. And they have a big list of former names that used to work at the station, including Jessica Aguirre, Fred Anderson, Rona Barnett, Angela Black, Bill Bonds, Ashley Brewer, Jan Carl, Laura Diaz, Tan DeNoho, Jerry Dunphy, Dr. Dean Adele, George Fishbeck, Gary Franklin, Dr. Lillian Glass, Harold Green, John Hambrick, Judd Hambrick, Chuck Henry, Bruce Hershenson, Brandy Hitt, Desiree Horton, J.J. Jackson, Dana King, Kathy Lang, Pinky Lee, Sam Chu Lin, Bruce Lindsay, Tawny Little, Christine Lund, Ann Martin, Lisa McCree, Rick Monday, Jim Moret, Johnny Mountain, Paul Moyer, Terry Murphy, Stu Nahan, Myla Nurmi, Kevin O'Connell, Warren Oney, Ron Olson, Andra Petersons, Regis Philbin, Bill Press, William C. Rader, Art Rascone, Maggie Rodriguez, Rick Romero, Wayne Statz, John Schulbeck, Tom Snyder, Ralph Story, Michelle Tuzzi, Baxter Ward, Gene Washington, and Bill Weir. Sports programming. Owing to its common ownership with ESPN, KABC-TV became the designated broadcast home of the Los Angeles Rams for their games in 2016 for the team's appearances on Monday Night Football. Channel 7 carries the Rams' Monday Night Football games from that year onward, while other games are split between 3 other television stations. KCBS-TV, Channel 2 through the NFL on CBS, including the network's Thursday night games from 2014 to 2017. KNBC, Channel 4 through NBC's Sunday Night Football, and NBC produced Thursday night games from 2016 to 2017. KTTV, Channel 11 through the NFL on Fox, and Fox produced Thursday night games from 2018 to 2021. And KTLA Channel 5 through Amazon Prime produced Thursday night games since 2022. The station also produces and broadcasts the Rams team shows on Saturday nights during the regular season, with comedian Jay Moore once serving as host for several weeks in 2016. The same broadcast schedule applies for the Los Angeles Chargers after they relocated from San Diego in 2017. The Chargers named KABC-TV the team's official English-language television broadcaster from 2017 to 2019, giving Channel 7 access to preseason telecasts and weekly magazines. In 2021, the Chargers moved their preseason broadcast to Channel 2, while the Rams moved their broadcast to Channel 7 as part of a new partnership, which also saw the station airing the Coach's Show on Saturday nights. Channel 7 will serve as the host station for Super Bowl 61 in 2027 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. In addition, KABC-TV carries NBA games involving both the LA Lakers and LA Clippers through the league's contract with the network. The station has carried the Lakers' NBA Finals appearances in 2004, 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2020, including the team's championship victories in the 3 latter years, 2009, 2010, and 2020. KABC-TV also aired the Lakers' inaugural NBA in-season tournament championship victory in 2023. For 1976 to 1989 and 1994 to 1995, Channel 7 aired MLB on ABC national broadcasts of select games involving the Los Angeles Dodgers and the now Los Angeles Angels, per the network's then broadcast rights with the league, in that capacity airing the Dodgers' victory in the 1981 World Series. In its role as the local station for nationally aired NHL on ABC game 1997-2 the Los Angeles Kings and Anaheim Ducks. KABC-TV served as the home station for the 1984 Summer Olympics, which were held in Los Angeles. The station also aired Los Angeles Wildcats games as part of ESPN coverage of the revived XFL in early 2020 before the league suspended operations due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Other locally produced programming. KABC-TV produces several local shows, including Vista LA, which profiles Latino life in Southern California, and Ion LA, which has been on the air in some form since the early 80s. On weekends, the station airs Eyewitness Newsmakers, hosted by reporter Adrienne Alpert. The station produced sports shows under various names throughout the year, all formerly under the name ABC-7 Sports Zone, which formerly originated from the ESPN Zone in Anaheim. Rams Primetime Saturday airs following the network's telecast of Saturday night college football games. During the NBA season, the station airs Slam Dunk Saturday or Sunday following Saturday night and Sunday afternoon games. Most ABC-7 Sports Zone shows previously originated from local sports venues, including the LA Memorial Coliseum in Exposition Park, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, and the Staples Center in LA, which is now the Crypto.com Arena. But shows are now produced from the station's Glendale studios. It was hosted by Rob Fukuzaki and is joined during the basketball season by former Laker great Michael Cooper. The program is a spinoff of Monday Night Live, which aired on Channel 7 from 1989 until Monday Night Football left the network after the 2005 NFL season. That show was hosted by Tom DeNoho until 1997, and later Bill Weir and Rob Fukuzaki, and featured an extensive trivia contest. Prior to ABC's annual telecast of the Academy Awards, Channel 7 produces a live pre-award show and post-award show. On the Red Carpet at the Oscars, featuring red carpet interviews and fashion commentary. This show also airs on the network's other owned and operated stations and is syndicated to several ABC affiliates and other broadcasters outside the country. From 2010 to 2014, KABC spun the special off intro, a weekly from 2010 to 2014, KABC spun the special off into a weekly entertainment news show on the red carpet, hosted by Rachel Smith. In the past, KABC-TV featured various locally produced shows such as AM Los Angeles, a morning talk show which at various times featured personalities Regis Philbin, Sarah Purcell, Ralph Story, Tawny Little, Christina Ferrer, Cindy Garvey, and Steve Edwards as hosts. Live with Kelly and Mark, formerly co-hosted by Philbin until 2011 and produced at New York sister station WABC-TV, now occupies the former time slot of AM Los Angeles. Edwards also hosted a short-lived afternoon show in the mid-1980s called 3:30, which aired after the ABC soap opera The Edge of Night. On April 30th, 1954, KABC-TV aired a preview program, Dig Me Later Vampira, hosted by Malia Nurmi at 11 p.m. The Vampira show premiered on the same night, and for the first 4 weeks, the show aired at midnight and moved to 11 p.m. on May 29th. 10 months later, on March 5th, 1955, the series began airing at 10:30 p.m. As Vampira, Nurmi introduced films while wandering through a hallway of mist and cobwebs. Her horror-related comedy antics included talking to her pet spider Rollo and encouraging viewers to write for epithets instead of autographs. When the series was canceled in 1955, she retained rights to the character of Vampira. In 1964, Pinky Lee attempted a return to kids television by hosting a local children's comedy program on Channel 7. The series was also seen in national syndication from 1964 to 1965, but the program fell prey to creative interference from the show's producers and from station management. Lee tried to fight off the creative interference, but his efforts were all for naught. The 1960s version of the Pinky Lee Kids TV show went off the air after one season. The station also served as the official host broadcaster of the Kingdom Day Parade in LA's Crenshaw neighborhood. Technical information and subchannels. Alright, so there are 4 digital subchannels for Channel 7, and I see Caesar has made it in, Joey has made it in, and Chad has made it in. How's it going? Okay, cool. Alright, so there are 4 digital subchannels for KABC-TV. On 7.1, broadcasting at 720p high definition with a 16:9 aspect ratio is main ABC programming. On 7.2 at 480i HD and 16:9 aspect ratio is localish. This is a lifetime This is a lifestyle network that is carried over the 8 owned and operated stations of ABC, including Channel 7 in Los Angeles. On 7.3 at 480i and a 16:9 aspect ratio is the Sinclair-owned action channel Charge. And on 7.4 at 480i HD and a 16:9 aspect ratio is QVC2. They also host the sub-channels of KRCA-TV. On channel 62.1 at 720p HD and a 16:9 aspect ratio is Estrella TV. This is a Spanish language network. On 62.2 and 62.3, both at 480i resolution HD and a 16:9 aspect ratio, there's Estrella News on 62.2 and Confess on 62.3. Alright, KABC employs 4 translator stations across Southern California, including K21MH Channel 21 in Daggett, California, K30QC Channel 30 in Ridgecrest, California, and K26MW Channel 26 and K27ON Channel 27, both in Lucerne Valley. And that's going to wrap it up for the history of KABC-TV. Coming up in episode 18, we'll be taking a look at their Fox station, KTTV, and we'll run through the history of that station. That's coming up in episode 18, so make sure you join me for that. Before I go, a quick shout out to everyone that joined me on the live stream: Crazy Cajun, Polar Bear Chad, King Caesar, Joey, and Anna. Thanks a ton, y'all, for joining. Okay, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in episode 18 of TV Station History. Peace out.